What's good, guys? It's Sam here, and I wanted to talk about my first full week of training every other day. Some really interesting insight. But before I do that, if you're watching this on your phone, just press that little subscribe button. Just gently tap on that. After you tap on that, then you just press that little bell notification so YouTube can notify you every time I post a video. So, some super interesting insight about training every other day. So, just to give a little bit of context, back in the day, probably 10 years ago, I would train, actually it's maybe longer than 10 years ago. Very long time, quite a long time ago, I used to train every other day, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I would go on the weekends once generally. But it would be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I did that for quite a while, maybe 6 months or a couple of years or something. And then I just started training, Monday through Friday, and it's been an evolution as time goes on. And prior to vacationing in Costa Rica, I wanted to drop some fat. So generally speaking, I would be training 5-6 days a week, with 1 or 2 of those days, maybe 3 of those days, I'd be doing doubles. So about 2 weeks out from Costa Rica, I decided to train every single day, 7 days a week, twice a day. Yeah, I'm not saying it's a smart thing to do. I'm not saying it's not overtraining or increasing the risk for injury or all these other things. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying that's what I did. Incredible amount of fat loss, like copious amounts of fat loss. In just the first 7 days, it was like, oh shit, this is completely ridiculous, the amount of fat that I lost in just 7 days. And I did that continuously for 11 days, and then I felt really worn down. No wonder, you're probably thinking. But before you unsubscribe, I know, like, you don't need to unsubscribe. I know I was probably worn down from all the training. So, went to Costa Rica. I only worked out twice while I was in Costa Rica, at this little beach town. Costa Rica was a blast, by the way. Check out my Instagram. Link will be in the description if you want to come say what's up or check out any of the pictures from Costa Rica. And when I got back, I switched to training every other day, how I was back in the day. However, now it's every other day and twice a day. So today was the day off. Tomorrow I'll be training, and I'll be training twice. Generally speaking, it's in the neighborhood of 7 to 10 hour difference between the training sessions. Generally speaking, it will be the same. Actually, almost all the time it's the same body part, except for, say, chest day. I'll do maybe a little bit more of the chest in the morning, and then in the afternoon, evening, I'll do chest with different exercises, and shoulders more. And I won't do as much of the shoulders in the morning. At least this is how this first week played out. We'll see how this coming week goes. I do have to figure out a way. I didn't train arms, so if you've been following my content for a while, then you know how awesome I am. No, that's not what I was going to say. If you've been following my content for a while, if you've been following my content for a while, you know that I don't, for the number of years, I didn't really train arms very much. Also, if you see, I broke out. I think that was from Costa Rica. Maybe my backpack on my arms or something, because it's under both of my arms and on my shoulders a little bit, and back here on my lats. So completely off topic, but I didn't train arms very much or at all for a number of years. So I'm trying to be consistent with training arms. And the first week here of training every other day, I did not train arms. How my split went was legs, chest and shoulders, and then back, and then tomorrow, right? Like, I could do arms tomorrow, but I was thinking of probably hitting legs again. Maybe I'll do arms. I'm not sure how I'm going to split that up to work arms into the routine. I do think that would be tremendously valuable, because it tends to be, if I skip a day, I tend to seem to skip arm day. So I would like to figure out a way to be consistent with the arm day, and whether that's just hitting a little bit of arms on chest and shoulders, or hitting a little bit of arms on back day, and keeping it that rotation of 3 in there. So we've got legs, chest, shoulders, and maybe a little bit of arms, and then back and a little bit of arms, or maybe back and arms. I'm not sure how I'm going to break that down. And that way I can keep that rotation going, just perpetually for a little while at least. Some of the things that I did notice over this first week, right? Like, it's only been a week, but I'm fucking sore. Prior to this, training, even before vacation where I went, completely overtraining multiple times per day, 7 days a week, for that 11-day period. Even before that, where I might have been 5 days a week, where 2 days, probably 6 days a week most of the time, where 1 to 3 of those days was doubles, meaning morning and afternoon. There was, I would be sore on certain days, but not, maybe like twice a week or something you'd get sore. So if I got my chest sore and then I trained back, my back would probably not be sore, and then my legs would be sore, or something like that. Like chest and legs are pretty easy to get sore, and I guess arms are too. Shoulders and back, not so much. So this week, I wouldn't say my shoulders were tremendously sore. Maybe my rear delts slightly. But my lats are definitely sore, especially right here and here. I was focusing on that to help with the width of my back. And my legs, when I trained those, that was the first day I trained last 6 days ago, or whatever it was, 7 days ago. My legs were extremely sore. On the posterior, the back of my legs, my hamstrings and glutes, even my calves were slightly sore. I've also don't normally train calves very often because my calves are pretty decent size, so I don't train calves that often. I'm working on getting those, working on training calves consistently as well, just like my arms. So I hit just a little bit of calves. So my calves are sore, my hamstrings and glutes were sore. My quads weren't tremendously sore. They were tight, but they weren't tremendously sore. So this leg workout, whether it's tomorrow or I do arms tomorrow or whatever I end up doing, I think I'm going to end up throwing in some front squats and some more quad-centric stuff to help with that as well, to just make sure that they're sore and I can get it overall. My whole entire legs are sore. Like, it hurt to like get up, but not. I could feel that there was a soreness difference between the back and the front of my legs, like the posterior and anterior part of my legs. And doing the doubles almost allows me to bring in a different type of intensity with the contraction, right? Because I'm also training a little bit heavier now than I was before. I wouldn't say I'm training heavy. I'm just training heavier than I was before. And I think that's due to because that's what I wanted to do, but then also have more recovery, right? Like, I took today off, like, completely. I'm working on doing a little bit more stretching and foam rolling on the days off, but definitely not consistent with it yet. We'll keep you guys posted, but say for single arm lat rows, this is my Saturday night, by the way. It's 10:01 p.m. on March 2nd. I can really try to bring the intensity to squeeze that in there, versus before it was more of the volume, at least mentally I feel that I was going for when I was doing 5 to 6 days a week. I was doing a lot more of the, because I'm doing just as much volume, I feel like, maybe even more volume, but there's a different concentration associated with it now. I feel that there's just more intensity that I'm bringing into it, so my back doesn't get sore that often, right? Once a month or once every month and a half or something like that gets sore. Not tremendously often, like where my chest I get sore every week or every other week, and my legs pretty much every week. So getting my back sore is an awesome feeling, and I'm really looking forward to doing some more stuff with my shoulders, and that's what got me excited about the arm training. If I'm doing arms in the morning and in the evening, or if I do a little bit of arms on a couple days, I think I can add in a little bit more arm size. I feel that might be an area where my arms are lagging slightly. Lastly, the thing that I also have been doing every single day, so 6 times this week, is just a little bit of chest. And just on my right side, it's probably not super noticeable in a tank top, but the right pec is not as big as the left pec. If you go back and look at some of the posing videos, so click on the channel, check out some of the posing videos, you'll see that one pec is a little bit bigger than the other. The left pec is substantially larger than the right, so I'm working throughout the entire month, 6 days a week, so that's in the morning, the evening, right? Like if I do legs tomorrow or arms, in the morning and the afternoon, each one of those sessions I might add in one exercise with like 3 sets of, like, say a fly, right? And I'll just do a single arm fly just for my right side here to constantly work on the mind muscle connection and just to add more volume, because if I can see a physical size difference, right, between my left and my right pec, and I've been training for fucking 20 years, then that me, and I noticed this, a number of years ago, so I've been putting in a little bit more work into my right side than my left. But if I've been doing this and built up some type of size disparity between the right and the left pec, that could take a number of years to get back into parity. So I want to be able to increase the capacity, I want to increase that workload on this side, on my right side, substantially over a prolonged period of time to help shorten that time period it takes for them to get back to parity, if that makes sense. So I'm doing that every single time I go, just a little bit, and there's some machine presses that I'll do as well, just to try to bring up my right side. Just so, since I've been focusing more so on this over the last like 2 to 3 months, the mind muscle connection has drastically increased. Like I'll just flex when I do chest. I'll just flex my right side most of the time. So if I'm doing bench, that might be the only thing I'm thinking about is flexing my right side. I'm not even trying to flex my left side to help with that mind-body connection. So that I'm just constantly working on this to help bring my right pec up to the same size as my left pec. Anyways, I'm looking forward to week number 2. I've got lots of fucking awesome stuff for video content that's going to be coming out. If you guys have any questions, let me know down below in the comments. I just hit the threshold to start monetizing my videos, and the application is out. So I will give you guys an update on that soon. Also, I should have the numbers for February out probably tomorrow. A YouTube video on the results for YouTube, on the results for Amazon, and got a bunch of other stuff. The ad that I'm trying to improve on Instagram stories and all that. There's plenty of other stuff. And I also have updates on the foreclosure property that I'm working on getting under contract. So if you're interested in any of that, make sure you press that subscribe button. Jump over to Instagram, link in the description, say what's up, and if you have any questions, leave them down below. Also, I'll have an update on different types of compounds. I have a video tomorrow morning, so if you watch this, don't forget to subscribe. But I just took 3.6 grams of kratom, and it is, as I mentioned, 10 o'clock. I'm gonna go shower and take my contacts out, and I'm going to see how that helps if I notice any type of difference while I am sleeping. Yes. Anyways, got a lot of updates coming. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you soon. Peace.